Good evening. Welcome to the Bedminster Township Committee. This is our regularly scheduled Township Committee meeting for April 21st, 2025. Recognize that we have a full quorum attending here in person. Committeewoman Fernandez, Committeewoman Moreski, Committeeman Hickey, and attending remote, Committeeman Doug Stevenson, who's not on camera because he's upside down. Ms. Ray, may we please have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, Mayor. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News Somerville, Burnsville News Whippany, and to all subscribers, and posted at the Township Municipal Building on January 7th, 2025.
Great, thank you. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jason, well done holding Bedminster down while Robin was on vacation.
No emergencies, it was good.
No emergencies, good job. This is the time of the meeting. We open up the dais or the Zoom session for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to make a comment, ask a question, may do so. Once again, you are not entitled to answers or a dialogue unless you chose to engage. Any member of the public wishing to make a statement? Your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Yolanda Sillo. My address is 147 Villa Savannah Court, St. John's, Florida. But I am a longtime board member and current president of the Friends of Jacobus Vandiver House. These are the times that try men's souls. So wrote Thomas Paine 250 years ago. These words still ring true today. Saturday's Wall Street Journal had an editorial by historian Alan Gelso entitled, "Have you noticed it's America's 250th birthday? Have you noticed the celebrations already going on?" The Friends of Jacobus Vandiver love managing JVH, running our programs, talking about history. We've accomplished much since COVID. A few examples: enhanced our summer program, the Field of Honor, into a signature program. We also have now the White House Winds Symphony concert performed there with house tours. Annually, we now host 2 vibrant school days with reenactors and colonial demonstrators. We offer private tours to increase access. 2 were given last week. We've increased our participation with Somerset County, the 5 Generals Tours, Weekend Journey, the Docent Program, the Middlebrook Symposia. We've installed a beautiful scale dollhouse historically accurate interactive model of the Pluckham and Cantonment, our link in Bedminster to the American Revolution. We've obtained records and artifacts from the Pluckham and Cantonment archaeological dig. We've recruited board members and docents who participate in our events in period dress, which adds to our historical impact. We've done many other things. We appreciate the township's support with use and assembly of your tent and the Field of Honor work and Colonial Christmas. It must be noticed, however, that our board spends countless volunteer hours, and several of us provide significant financial support to our nonprofit, which benefits the House and Bedminster taxpayers. We thought and perceived that we had a positive relationship with the township and our lease renewal would be easy, but we appear to be at an impasse. We're brokenhearted. We've received no plausible explanation or reason. Communication to us has been limited, delayed, and requests for calls ignored. Bylaws are the center of an organization's governance. This impasse goes to that governance. Most citizens would agree that inserting the government into a nonprofit's bylaws is at best unseemly and inappropriate, having the appearance of government control. We would be happy to discuss the township's concerns and give consideration to amending our bylaws, but this should not be as a condition of a lease or with government pre-approval requirements. We've worked hard to create programming for the 250th. We love sharing American history and Bedminster Township's role in it. We implore, entreat, and plead with you for an extension and better yet lease renewal so that we can ensure Bedminster Township is recognized and represented in this historic celebration and beyond. We received notice that our lease will not be extended and will end April 30th, that we should act accordingly. So with heavy hearts, we will begin to move forward. We sincerely hope that you will offer us a lease extension and renewal lease with appropriate terms. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Any further member of the public wishing to make a comment? Seeing none. John, we are you've drafted a lease, you presented it. Lease is consistent with conversations with the board, including members of the board who are at tonight's meeting. From July, when we met, we talked about working with the town, working with the community, further engagement with Bedminster, with the placement of a third of the board to be appointed by the Township Committee with representation from Bedminster residents. Bedminster residents who pay for the upkeep of the property, the building, the payment of utilities, the maintenance of the roof, the painting of the building, the erection of the tents, DPW services for Field of Honor, DPW services for a whole lot of other stuff. So with all that municipal participation, and frankly, a drop off, oh, please, and then the barn, whatever the current state of the barn is. So when I raised that issue about municipal participation on the board, the response from the board members, including the president back in July last year, was overwhelmingly supportive. Overwhelmingly supportive, because to some extent there has been a loss of connection with Bedminster residents. The lease, John, that you drafted is consistent with those discussions from back in July.
Correct.
Position has not changed. I see no reason other than I've seen some issues that have been thrown out that seem unsubstantiated, whether it violates 501c3 issues or anything else. There's been no indication that that is legally accurate. Once again, we come back to the July meeting, overwhelming support for municipal participation, whether that was going to be from the rec committee, which rec manages River Road Park, from Public Works, which takes care of the property, takes care of the building, from Historic Preservation, which is Bedminster's statutorily delegated authority for looking at the historic value of what we have here in Bedminster, and maybe from Bedminster School and the PTO to get, once again, further engagement with the municipality and the school, which seems to have dropped off over the years. So back then, there was tremendous support for it. This was offered as a way of helping the JVH House and the JVH Board. And it was recognized at the time as so. This resistance to that very same lease provision that we've talked about, while still Bedminster maintaining the property, the building, the utilities, and all the other services that DPW provides. This is, from my perspective, an unacceptable position for the JVH board to take with us. So John, you still have your direction. You prepared the lease. The lease is ready to be signed by Bedminster Township, correct?
Correct, Mayor. It's just a singular issue that has held us up seemingly since last July, and for your direction, not mine. I'm just the messenger. The tenant cannot have the power to veto township committee appointments, and that has to be in the lease, because if it's not in the lease, bylaws can always be changed and changed again. So it has to be that, notwithstanding any provisions in the bylaws to the contrary, township committee appointments to the board are not subject to a veto power by the tenant. I don't think that's an unreasonable request by the landlord, the township here. You still would be in the minority position on the board with a limit of 1/3 of the trustees. So I'm not quite sure why this has been such an arduous road, but it certainly hasn't been because of any hardline positions of the township.
Thank you, John. We have two sets of meeting minutes to approve, April 7th. No,
No?
No.
so we don't.
No, we tabled those.
We tabled those.
Yeah,
You're right.
we did.
So we're going to move on to permits and raffles. We're going to hear the first two individually up front. Rob Totten, why don't you come on up? So the first two permits and raffles we're going to consider are fireworks permits for fireworks display. First scheduled for May 10, 2025 at approximately 9:45 at Trump National Golf Club. And the second, a fireworks display scheduled for May 25, 2025 at approximately 9:45 at Trump National Golf Club. Mr. Totten, just for the record, name and position at the golf course.
Sure, Mayor. Robert Totten, Director Security, Trump National Golf Club, Bedminster, New Jersey.
Okay, so the fireworks applications are in the packages. Any member of the Township Committee have any comments or questions? And if not, Rob, if you just want to walk us through the fireworks displays.
Sure. May 10th is for a wedding. It is going to be approximately an 8-minute show. I have the Bedminster Fire Department approved the permits, and they're going to be on site along with fire trucks. And Bedminster PD will be present because we have to shut down Copperwaith Road.
And
And
okay.
our attorneys are writing letters to all residents within 200 feet of our property, notifying all the residents when and what time we are going to have these fireworks.
And the May 25.
May 25th is our annual Memorial Day event. It's the same,
8
about an
minutes.
8-minute show, closing the roads, fire department, police department, and letters to our neighbors.
Presence of the president, does that affect the display, the timing, or any of the security associated with the display?
In the past, no. It may delay it a couple minutes or it may expedite it, but it's generally around the time that I put in for it.
Okay.
There would be no other issues.
Okay.
Not Mr. Totten's first rodeo. I have no questions.
Okay, if there's no further questions of Mr. Totten, I'll take a motion to approve both fireworks displays for May 10 and for May 25.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
you,
Mayor.
Mr. Totten.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Good
Thanks,
luck with
Rob.
fireworks. The rest of the permits and raffles, annual seasonal farm market permit for Flounder Brewing Company at Bedminster Farmers Market, beginning May 24 through December 6. A social fair permit for the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation on May 12, 2025 from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Trump National Golf Club. An on-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit Somerset Healthcare Foundation on June 2, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Hamilton Farm Golf Club. And an off-premise merchandise raffle to benefit New Jersey Golf Association Youth Foundation on July 22, 2025 from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Hamilton Farm Golf Club. Any comments or questions regarding the two permits and the two raffles? Seeing none, take a motion to approve the remaining permits and raffles.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Monthly report discussion by subcommittee chair. Easter egg hunt?
Yes,
We're
I've
going
had
to
that.
go with
Start with me.
Committee Woman Fernandez.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so the Easter egg hunt took place on Saturday before Easter on the 19th. It went very well. There were a couple of hundred kids who participated, which is great. It seems to grow every year. We have a couple of spring programs happening. Right now, Camp Bedminster, an afternoon camp registration is taking place. It began on April 1st for Bedminster residents, and beginning on May 1st, non-residents will be allowed to register if space is available. Community service applications are due by Friday, May 2nd. There's some spring programs taking place. There's adult indoor volleyball, began on Wednesday, and has about 35 participants. And it will run, adult outdoor volleyball will be either begin May 27th or May 28th at the Pluckerman Park Outdoor Volleyball Courts. There's a soccer clinics taking place right now and multi-sports clinics as well. And the Bryce Rosen Memorial 5K will be held on Saturday, June 28th at River Road Park. And that's all.
So we have Bill Rosen from Rec. Bill, so all the work for the Easter egg hunt, 2 minutes?
90 seconds, Mayor.
90 seconds.
And,
Hours of work by Rec, by a Rec director, by DPW.
Mhm.
90 seconds. Everything's gone, cleared?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the ladies that, parents put their kids through to, get that dollar bill, unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was, it's one of the highlights of the year.
Yeah, it's.
So, we finally had a nice Saturday.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
So Robin, 90 seconds, is that slow or is that quick
It's
given?
totally accurate.
Right on, 90 seconds every year about the
Oh,
same?
The horn goes off from the fire truck and it's like mad dash.
And then people
It's
just
made-
start, before we put the tape on, they're there chomping at the bit to get on.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I recall last year, there might have been a couple blocks and hip checks by parents.
Yeah,
Any of that this year?
I didn't see any.
I think
Okay.
we're incident free this year,
Yeah.
All right,
right?
good,
I think
good.
everybody pretty well behaved.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Gina. Committee Woman Moreski.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. On the EC front, on April 12th, there was the annual Raritan River Headwaters stream cleanup. Site 22A, as usual, at River Road Park was coordinated by Dawn March and Deb Taglieri from our Bedminster Environmental Commission. So we start the day with Cindy Ehrenclough, who's the Senior Director of Development. She came by in the morning and asked us not to go near the waterways.
Oh, boy.
She let us know.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Hang on. She let us know that with the rains and the snows earlier in the week and in the morning, Raritan Headwaters had closed a few of the sites and that the streams were really swollen. And it was a crappy day, so we thought there'd be light attendance, but to our surprise, 25 people attended. So in attendance were a couple of families with small kids, several solo teenagers, I think they were getting credit, and a handful of adults. Many of the volunteers actually were repeat attendees. All sorts of things were found, from diapers to large highway road signs. Did you pick that one up?
Oh, yeah.
Good Lord. But the highlight of the event was when the mayor reached out for something in the river and the bank gave way under his foot. Suddenly he was up to the river, up to his chest, cold river water. But being the good sport that he is, he ran home, got changed and came back. Even though it was really miserable weather, everybody seemed to enjoy themselves and many told us they would be back next year.
Swimmies for the mayor?
Well,
Let's
I
see.
was along the bank and there were these, fishing bobs that were just, the floats were just sitting there like in this little, I went
So it was
to,
a bunch of junk.
Yeah, just a
Trees
junk.
and leaves and stuff.
so I just
that were
went
in there.
down to pick it up, stepping on what I thought was solid ground. And next thing I know, I'm up to here.
To your surprise. Oh, my gosh.
And Renee, who
Ran away.
was my hero, as she reached out her arms, said,
The bank was so slippery. I guess we have so much clay in our dirt that when it was wet, I started to slide. I'm like, oh no, I'm not that good.
I'm surprised you didn't take your phone out and start recording.
Yeah.
It was really scary.
Yeah.
The mayor was up to here and I was a little concerned because the river was really flowing pretty fast. So the camera didn't come out.
So, but my camera came out later, but it was a little wet. So, yeah, I had to get a new phone, but
Oh, man.
Oh, shit. Well,
yeah, well, it happens.
everybody.
It
needs a camera.
happens. It happens. It was time. So, once again, just great job, to, Bedminster EC, to Dawn and Deb Taglieri, well, Dawn March and, Deb Taglieri for manning the tent. Renee, for your, work out there, and, thank you again for that helping hand. Thank you. And later that morning, I was driving up to P-PAC, and it was really great to see that RHA had folks up in PG. They had them in P-PAC, they had them in the Gladstone side as well, on the Far Hills border. So it was really great to see that, they really bring out a lot of volunteers, and it was great.
Yeah, I think a lot of the volunteers are very dedicated to this event.
And there
So
were some new folks who came out this year that I haven't seen. There was some group that came out from some business. I forget where they came from, but a lot of them weren't local. So they were
One
they
guy at
just,
the very end, he was from Branchburg and he comes up, so.
yeah, that's so
It's nice.
so good job for RHA putting that all together, and for EC for running it here in Bedminster.
No. So we did just hear Yolanda and she told us many things that are going on at JVH. But just a quick rundown, April 9th was another school day. It was the Somerville Vanderveer, we're elementary school, and the American Christian School. They had about 120 students attending. The teachers are all highly complimentary and looking forward to doing this again in the fall. Usually they run it in October. So as Yolanda mentioned, their program's still lined up, but they've been put on hold, at least for this minute. Field of Honor, which is June 7th, Weekend Journey Through the Past, which is October 11th through 12th. That's a county program. Fall School Day, as I said, it will be in October. The participation of the new county docent program, and then Colonial Christmas, which is usually early December. And as we heard, there's some issues going on, but hopefully the specifics will be able to get ironed out and the programs can move forward. Because it really wouldn't be the 4th of July without the flags at Field of Honor. And it wouldn't be Christmas without the lighting of our Liberty tree. Even though I know we've got an issue with the lights on the Liberty tree, but they've been worked out for years and they're absolutely fine. And everybody comes and it's a great event. So hopefully we'll be able to square that away. Couple quick things on some traffic around town. A second follow-up study was done on the Old Dutch Road speeding. And it looks like with the new signs that have been put up, most of the speeds that they are being traveled at are between 26 and 36 miles an hour. Which, Chief, if you want to chime in on that's probably an acceptable level of speeding, but the residents still feel it's too fast and would like to continue talking about additional options that might be available. So we'll put a meeting together for that when we get a chance. And Lisk Road is having a similar issue. So I've reached out to Chief Bernardo for a speed study to be done up there. That's a very tiny road, very windy road. The chief has the equipment in another location at this time for a couple of weeks, but hopefully Lisk Hill will be next in line. We'll get the results, share that, and then put together a meeting for those residents and see what we can come up with. And that concludes my report for today.
Thank you.
One thing about Lisk Hill, get paved, it's gonna be faster.
Oh, yeah.
And they are concerned about that.
Yeah.
How about that tree that's like right on the road? It looks,
Like to lay it over
Yeah.
more.
is that coming down or? Nope. It's
Where,
not.
the one on the-
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, well, it's going to come down eventually.
The one on the right going in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, the big one.
Yeah.
I think that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it is a very small narrow road. You're right. Once it's paved, it's gonna be a little faster. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. So I get to follow, let's see, Easter egg hunts and the mayor going in the drink with septic applications. Boy, I'm lucky. Board of Health, we had 3 septic applications reviewed at last week's meeting, which is not that exciting, but it is worth noting that one involved a lot on Deer Haven that combined a proposed location for a new septic system in tight proximity to an existing well. Oh, it's not how you would draw it up on paper in a perfect world. But these designs are driven by the lot configuration, the soil composition, and the location of the river. These geometry problems are becoming increasingly complex in this area of Bedminster, especially as these homes, many of which were built in the 50s and 60s, are now in need of another septic replacement.
Right.
The Board of Health has been working diligently with the applicants and their engineers to make sure that water safety is maintained, but it does beg the question of if and when and how the sewer system can be expanded to provide some relief. And I know, Mayor, you and the Sewer Advisory Committee have been working hard on that problem. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Just a quick update for DPW. Jason and his team continue to work on our dirt roads and pothole repairs throughout town. The grading and the repairs of the roads continue to obviously take up a lot of time. We're doing the ball fields, grooming and lining, both lacrosse and soccer and baseball. Working over at Pluckerman Park, doing the topsoil and seeding. They continue to install the open space signs throughout town, and we're starting to get into grass cutting season. And then on their spare time, they're working on our police cars. Not really sure what we're doing to them, but we're working on the police cars, and we've got some lighting projects we're still working through.
All right. Thank you.
Well,
So,
go ahead.
so from my subcommittees, land use, no meeting since our last meeting. Ag advisory meeting later this month, farmers market meeting coming up in, I believe, early May. Library, Colin and I attended the last library meeting. Library is going through HR review with a personnel employee handbook, as well as a general handbook for the operation and services of the library. So we're really seeing some sort of like what I would almost call professionalizing.
Yeah.
What we have in place at the library. It's great to see. And I just want to give a little shout out to the president of the library board, Judith Griffiths, who I think has just done a bang up job as president of the library.
Agreed.
She is not necessarily one who's going to defer review and consideration to Marie Crenshaw, who is our library director. But Judith is going through all the details with a fine-tooth comb, asking pertinent questions. And I think she's just doing a great job.
Like you said, level of professionalism, I think that is new high. It's terrific.
Yes, that's really great to see. Ms. Ray, may we please have the administrator's report?
Yes, Mayor. Well, as you know, we introduced our budget, our 2025 budget, the April 7th Township Committee meeting. Both the budget and the user-friendly budgets are on the township's website for the public to review. We are state review this year. So the state is actually going to get back to us. They're going to review our budget, get back to us with any questions, and we expect to adopt at the May 5th meeting.
So is that after state review? Or do we adopt and then it goes to state review?
So we're hoping that they're going to do a quick turnaround and we'll adopt on May 5th.
Okay, so that'll be after
After
state review.
That's correct.
Okay.
We don't anticipate any issues. Our auditors are quite confident.
Okay.
So. The DCA LEAP grant, that's actually due on May 30th. That stands for Local Efficiency Achievement Program, is LEAP. And it's to encourage shared services throughout the state of New Jersey. Bedminster Township is actually applying with our partners of the Borough of Far Hills and the Borough of Peapack Gladstone for a shared street sweeper so that we can be in compliance with the state's stormwater regulations. Bedminster, we're taking care of completing the grant application, and Far Hills and PPAC Gladstone are drawing up the shared services agreement. So we're planning to meet next week just to kind of put the icing on the cake and see where we're at. Also, we're now in the process of liquor license renewals. So you can expect, they all expire June 30th. So you can expect to start seeing that coming in and your approval. I should back up the DCA LEAP grant. There is a resolution on the agenda tonight for consideration. That was an ad. Each one of the member municipalities do need to, we need the governing body support to apply for the LEAP grant. So that's the resolution that was added this evening. It should be, I think it's 078.
So not on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda, yes. It's 2025-078. It authorizes the grant application for the street sweeper. And that was a last minute addition.
Okay.
And that concludes my report.
Chief Bernardo, updates on community policing.
Just one thing, Mayor. Good evening. AT&T asked us to participate in their Take Your Children to Work Day this week, so we're sending a few officers to do some activities with the kids. And that's all I got.
That's great. Okay. Thank you. No ordinances to introduce. No ordinances for public hearing. We have 2 items on the consent agenda. These are items of a routine nature. Any member of the Township Committee may pull one or both of them off for individual consideration. If not, take a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacob?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution not on the consent agenda is Resolution 2025-077, which authorizes the agreement with US Bank for the use of procurement cards. Ms. Ray, we started this last year, didn't we?
We did. I wanted to put it on the regular agenda so that we could just give you an update. So our current provider, which is Bank of America, will no longer be servicing the municipality. So we needed to switch to a new provider. And this new provider is actually on the state contract. So our QPA has made the recommendation that we move forward with the new provider.
And the same thresholds on the P cards, everything else.
Same
is the-
rules, same thresholds, identical.
Any questions, comments from the Township Committee members on Resolution 2025-077? Seeing none, take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
The resolution that was added to the agenda is Resolution 2025-078, Township of Bedminster desires to apply for and obtain a grant from New Jersey DCA for approximately $410,000 to carry out a project for a new shared service between the Township of Bedminster, the Borough of Far Hills, and the Borough of Peapack and Gladstone for the purchase of a shared street sweeper. The resolution would authorize the application for the grant. Any further questions or comments of Ms. Ray regarding the street sweeper grant application? Seeing none, take a motion to approve Resolution 2025-078.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Committeeman Stevenson?
Aye.
Committeeman Hickey?
Aye.
Committeewoman Moreski?
Aye.
Committeewoman Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
And I'll take a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call again, please. Committeeman Stevenson?
Aye.
Committeeman Hickey?
Aye.
Committeewoman Moreski?
Aye.
Committeewoman Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Any
I always get thrown off. when
Township
someone's
Committee
not
member
here.
want to put any item up for discussion under new business? Seeing none. Old business. Utilities.
Thank you, Mayor. A quick update on JCP&L. I had mentioned the last time that at our request, a reliability engineering study was being kicked off to address repeated outages at the Somerset Hills Shopping Center, AKA Fresh Market. That work continues, and I've actually connected the property owner directly to the reliability engineering team over at JCP&L. I hope to have a readout of what that study finds for one of our upcoming meetings in May. And Mayor, that's all I've got. Jason, do you have anything utilities related?
No, we're good.
Okay.
That is it.
Okay. Doug, John, Pluckman Park Senior.
Been
No-
quiet.
Been quiet? All right, we'll leave it up there. Somerset Hills Public Safety Committee, no updates since our last meeting. Robin, do you remember when our next conference call is?
Thursday.
Oh, it's Thursday.
Thursday.
Good thing, yeah.
Thank you, Robin.
I think it's this Thursday. I'll send out a reminder.
Okay, thank you. We do have an executive session. We will be in discussions regarding it's identified as property acquisition, but it's actually a farmland preservation easement. So we'll go through Township Committee. We will adjourn to executive session. We will not be taking any formal action following the executive session. So let's run through Township Committee comments, and we'll start with Committeewoman Hernandez.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no comments. Just hope everyone had a nice Easter and that's all.
All right, that's good. Committeewoman Mareski.
I just hope we get the lease agreement figured out with JVH, because I personally think that that will be a big loss to our town. I've had an amazingly wonderful time being their liaison, and I would like to continue that. I think this new group has breathed a bunch of new life into it. And I know this is a law thing and I'm not a lawyer, but I hope we can figure this out, because I seriously think that we'll be missing a good chunk of our town with the Friends disappearing.
Committeeman Hickey.
Mayor, I have no comments. Thank you.
Committeeman Stevenson.
I have no comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, and I have no further comments. At 7:38, take a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Once again, we will not be taking formal action when we return from our executive session. True. And it is 8:18. The Township Committee has returned from our executive session. As we said earlier, we are not taking any formal action following the executive session. Take a motion to adjourn for the evening.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you and good night.
Night all.
Night, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Yeah.
Ciao all.